Let me share a couple of verses because you go, why do you call this Say Yes Sunday? What have I signed myself up for something by just being here? Like, what does this mean? All right, what does it mean that this is called Say Yes Sunday? Well, this is something that we started last year, all right? And I'd like to give you two Bible verses. I'd like to give you two Bible verses that will help you understand where we get this language from and why we talk about this the way that we do. Okay, the first is in Matthew 5. Again, you have heard, this is Jesus giving the Sermon on the Mount. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it's God's throne, or by earth, for it's his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Keep going. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Is that all for that one, or is there anything? What do you think? Okay, just hold off on that one. All right, so there's a lot of context in that verse that I unpacked last year that I don't really have time to get into. But people had reached a point to where, our society, if you think about society now, everything's so built on sign here, sign this, guarantee, make sure, double make sure, two signatures, fingerprints, agree to the terms and conditions. There's just this whole assumption that people will not back up what they say. Okay, we live in a culture that's sort of rooted in, I'm going to assume you're going to be dishonest, so there's going to be all these different ways to cover our bases. So in this time in history, it was very similar. So people were having to swear by Jerusalem and swear by this and swear by that. And Jesus was trying to talk to a group of people about what it looks like to be formed into his image and actually to be a group of people that have substance to what comes out of their mouth. Okay, what comes out of our mouth is actually important. So for us to actually say something as a kingdom individual, as a son and daughter of God, as someone who follows Jesus Christ, when we say it, there's substance to it. So Jesus is actually trying to, right here in the Sermon on the Mount, trying to shape and form a people of not just integrity, but a people of substance and consequence, that if I say something, it carries weight. Okay? If I say something, it means something. I don't have to swear by this, or I don't have to swear by that, or I don't have to give you all these assurances. You need to know that I'm a person that is trying to live a congruent life. Okay? So let's go to the next one. So this is a parable. Jesus was using this to stir it up, as he always did. But he goes, what do you think? There was a man who had two sons. He went to the first and said, son, go and work today in the vineyard. I will not, he answered. But later he changed his mind and went. Okay? Then the father went to the other son and said the same thing. He answered, I will, sir. But he did not go. Which of the two did what his father wanted? The first, they answered. Okay, the first they answered. So if you were here last year, this will sound familiar to you. If you weren't, this is the way that we like to think through what it looks like to commit to the church. Okay, if you read Acts 2, Luke is very intentional showing us what the early church looked like by telling us what they were devoted to. Okay, they were devoted to the word. They were devoted to fellowship. Okay, they were devoted to breaking bread. They were devoted to gathering, right? So you see all of these things that they were devoted to, not these things that were easy, but things that they committed to, things that they were devoted to, things that they said yes to. But when you say yes to something, if you really say yes to something that matters, that means you say no to something else. Okay? That means you say no to something else. So if you're considering serving in our church, if you're considering joining a city group in our church, if you're considering giving to the future of the church, if you're considering any type of commitment that carries any substance or holds any weight whatsoever, a congruent yes that means yes is also a no. Okay? So you go, Jerry, why are you saying that? Why are you saying a yes means a no? Well, we want you guys to step full-hearted with mind, body, and spirit, okay, into the decisions that you make today as it pertains to the life of this church. And you go, well, I'm starting to feel a little pressure. Well, that's kind of hard. Like that's a difficult space for me because I'm one of those people that don't want people to do things because they feel a negative pressure. So hopefully you feel a positive pressure. Hopefully you feel an accountable pressure. like, yeah, you know what? If I really am a part of a body, if I really am a part of a church, if I really am a part of a people, I should be called to commit. I should be called to go all in. I should be called to step forward, right? So that's what we're going to do today in all the different ways. But it's going to be really, everybody look at me. It's going to be really, really fun, okay? Our team, in just a second, I want you to give it up for our staff. These guys and gals have worked around the clock to make this room conducive. We think that we counted every single chair. We rearranged. We've got some fun things that are going to happen in just a minute. We came up with this whole idea for the tables. That's not communion under those tables unless you can pull off a donut as communion. All right, we've got some really fun things ahead. But I just want to thank our team, and I want to thank so many volunteers. If you see anybody wearing this shirt today, they were a part of this, so thank them. We're so excited that we have Tim, who has stepped into, Tim and Melissa right here, they have stepped into point leadership over the community life of our church. So basically most of what happens the other 23 hours a week as it pertains to us connecting to each other and being together and growing together, they are invested heavily with our city group leaders in seeing that come together, and there's been so many conversations leading up to today, all right? So let me give you some next steps here. All right, so this is going to be a little bit different than you're used to, but we always do a connect time, like a break, okay? But we're going to do an extended break. And when we do this extended break, that's going to let us move a few things around in the room for the next part of what we're doing this morning. But it's also going to give you an opportunity to explore some areas, explore some options, and get to know some people. So we're going to turn the music up in just a minute. If you want to go explore the All of Us setup over here, you can go explore the All of Us setup. If you need to go turn in your pledge card, you can go drop it in the box over there. We're going to have coffee and donuts on this back wall. And they're from Donut Shop, right? Yeah. Okay. So, you know, high dollar, all right? Right? Okay. You may like a Boston cream from Dunkin' Donuts, but you're going to have to raise your level, and you're going to have to be a little bit more classy this morning, all right? We're talking about classy donuts, all right? We classed it up with our donuts, okay? So now you're having fun. I said donuts. I should have walked up and just said donuts, all right? So we've got the shirts for sale back here. We'll have people that will be handling that kiosk. There's stickers. There's like RCC stickers for your laptop, your water bottle, your windshield, your kid's door, wherever they put those things. There is a table for serving in general. So if you are not serving in a ministry team, either within our church or outside of our church, you can get your donut, get your coffee, and go out to the lobby and explore the table that has different serving options. We have our packets, they're Say Yes packets. Everything that you see today, for the most part, that's necessary, will have a QR code that you can scan, okay? So you can scan and you go, I want to serve, but what are all the options for serving? How do I find them all in one place? You scan it. It'll bring up the Church Center app. If you don't have it, you can download it. If you do have it, you'll just see the form immediately. Okay, we're going to have a newcomers table. If there's anybody that's new, you've been around just a few weeks, or you've walked in here today, there's a space for you. It's going to be for newcomers. We're going to have a table for men and women, and then when we come back, we'll talk through what the city group situation looks like. There'll be a table for Celebrate Recovery, which is going to be starting this fall. Celebrate Recovery is a space for anyone that needs to step into a season of accountability for anything that you might be struggling with across the board, but it's also an opportunity for anyone who wants to be a part of a space like that. Maybe you've experienced freedom in any area of your life and you love to participate in other people experiencing freedom. You can also go back and explore the Celebrate Recovery table. We'll have someone manning that table. Yes? People can sign up for city groups during this time too. Good. Yep, I did forget that. And that's right there, right? Okay, so we have our city groups banner over here. Our phrase for city groups is we do worship in the round, and we believe that we need to do life in the round. So if you're here and you go, I have really been meaning to sign up for a city group, or I'm going to put my name in the hat for a city group, there's actually going to be a space right now this morning that you can do that, and in coming weeks we can do our best to help you find community, okay? Did I leave anything else out? Are we good to go? All right, everybody stand up. So you're like, okay, when he says go, where do I go? All right. So the donuts are here. My suggestion would be we form a line over here and we form a line over here. All right. Shirts are back there. Serve teams, Celebrate Recovery in the lobby. Some of these other spaces, as we mingle for a while, we're going to pull a few rows out, so it's going to be a little more standing than sitting for the remainder. Here's what I'm going to ask. If you're feeling that like, man, I might just hit the eject button and slide out the front door, okay? If you're starting to feel that, we want you here. I'm not a part of a city group. I'm not serving. We've created a space for everybody. We would love for you to just stay where you are. That's one of the reasons we have the donuts and we've created so much connect time, okay? So don't hit the eject button. If you do hit the eject button and you have children, we're asking that you don't go and get them before 10:45 because that creates a lot of chaos. Thank you. Yeah, that's the word. It just creates chaos that they've just been checked in and then they're being checked out. And some of the other ones don't quite get that after 15, 20 minutes. So, all right, let me pray over the rest of our time. Sometimes when a church does something like this, people go, this feels like just a dry kind of a mechanical type thing. Remember, what this Sunday represents, we've set the lion's share of an entire Sunday aside because we do not believe that you are going to grow in your relationship with the Lord alone. Okay? We're all in that you're not going to grow in your relationship with God alone. So we've created this entire moment for you to step into that. Okay? We don't want that for you. Okay? So the heart behind this is you connecting with other people in the church, or if you're new here, you connecting to our church so that you're not alone and so that you're in community and so that we're all cared for. Right? Okay. God, we love you and we thank you for this morning. What an exciting time and what a fun morning. God, we pray that we continue just to laugh together and enjoy this. I pray over these donuts, Lord, and all the protein and just, God, we ask for a wonderful, fun, blessed time. Help us to connect. God, I pray that people meet new people, fast track relationships. Let there be a peace on our conversations. Let there be a lightness on the way that we interact. And God, if anyone's feeling a little bit out of sorts just by the way that we're doing things this morning, God, let them relax and have peace and know that you see them and we see them and we are all here together. So God, bring unity, spirit, you unite us, one spirit, one church, one body, one faith, one baptism. We're so grateful for that. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, go to all the different places and enjoy the next 20 minutes.
Okay. All right, here's where we get just a little more serious for a minute. Hey guys, I just want to say welcome. Welcome to just such a fun day where we get to hang out together and talk. If we could bring the music down for a little bit, you can scale it down to like 10%. 10% maybe, or off. One of those. All right. So I'm just going to share for a few minutes. Actually, Rudy, can we just turn it off? I know, that kills all the good vibes that are happening right now. It's okay, guys. We're going to bring the vibes back, okay? We're going to bring it back. Hey, guys, my name is Tim Downey, as Jared already mentioned. One of the pastors here. It's my job now to kind of pour into community life, and I'm pouring in, but there's so many others who have poured into this day and this time. Our city group leaders, our staff, other volunteers, just so many people that care deeply about our church, not just showing up on a Sunday to connect with each other, but really doing life together. And we've coined it doing life in the round. We have this kind of family living room kind of environment here on a Sunday morning at River City, but we really believe that the church can meet everywhere. And we know that the early church did that. Jared read Acts 2 today about how the early church broke bread together and how they met together in the temple and outside in homes. And we know that the New Testament early church met in homes. And that was such a core, vital part of the discipleship life and the discipleship process process of the church, and they did life together. So I'm going to give a quick little overview of what are city groups at River City. City groups at River City are groups of about 10 to 16 people that meet together outside of RCC in homes and different places, and it could be at a home one night, and it could be a social gathering that a city group chooses to do. And we do encourage that groups would embrace where they're really having fun together and doing life together in different ways. But city groups, we operate with kind of three core values for city group. Number one is presence, just showing up in each other's lives, being there for one another. Actually, that's the first step, really, is just being a present individual in your community and in your group. And then purpose. The reason for our groups is so that people of all backgrounds and diversity can join together and can experience Jesus together. The point of city groups is for people to experience authentic community where they're really known and seen and heard, and also so that they can invest in spiritual growth. And maybe you're in a city group, or you're looking to join a city group, and you're not a follower of Jesus. That's okay. You know, it's okay that you haven't, that you're not a Christian, you haven't decided to do that yet. There's space for you in city groups to learn, to grow, to connect with other people. But the purpose is spiritual development and understanding and getting to know Jesus better and becoming like him. So it's going deeper in relationship with each other. It's caring for each other in times of need, being a support for one another. That's such a valuable part of city group. And that kind of leads to the next core value of city groups is prayer. You know, nothing can show support and encouragement and just encouragement more than prayer and the power of prayer. So when we actually know what's happening in each other's lives and we say, okay, let me pray for that. Let me encourage you. And so city groups also press into prayer together, regularly praying for each other. And then also there's accountability, and there's walking in openness. And you know, it's really beautiful when you get to be part of a group that you can be yourself and know that there's going to be grace offered to you, that you can show some of your weaknesses and your flaws, and know that that's going to be not criticized or judged, but received in love, and you're going to receive and experience encouragement. Something powerful, really powerful and healing about being able to be transparent with other people and know that you're going to be received in love and in grace. And that's what we want for our city groups. We want there to be an openness. We want there to be really getting to know each other. And so that sounds really intense. It's not going to start out that way. You know, we're not going to just do a deep dive, but in some ways we are going to press into that. You know, what it's going to look like is for the next really 8 to 12 weeks, we're going to have somewhat of a connection period where the first 3 months is really just a time for people to get to know each other better. You know, some of you are meeting each other for the first time today, and you're like, wait a second, like, I'm just kind of feeling this out, and that's okay. Like, the next 3 months are going to be a time for our groups just to get to know each other better and just to kind of see, you know, are these my people? Are these people that I can really do life with in this next season? And so for the next 3 months, it's just getting to know each other. And then after that, we have more of a what I would call a commitment period. And city groups, once we enter into the commitment period, what we've encouraged all of our group leaders and groups to do is to commit to doing life together for 18 to 24 months. And if you count that 3-month period, then really you're looking at about a year and a half, you know, that you really just commit to one another. And so what we want to happen is there to be a lot of freedom with different groups and group leaders to talk about what the needs are, what is a shared expectation. I just want to start out by saying I recognize that people are coming at this city group thing from all walks of life, all phases. We've got young families with babies that were just born, and we've got people who are empty nesters with, you know, kids in college. You know, everybody's got a different bandwidth, right, for doing this. And whatever your bandwidth is, I would just encourage you, use this time today to express that, and the groups will come up with a shared expectation, and this is what it is. Some of you aren't even in control of your job schedules, right? You just get told when to show up to work, and you got to go, and that's fine. And what we're just encouraging is, to the best of your ability, once we get into that commitment period, that you're like, if this is my group, my people, like to the best of my ability, I'm going to show up because there's something for you to gain, but there's also something for you to give. And Jared talked about that a few weeks ago when he said, hey, if you're going to jump into a group once you get to that commitment period, that's a spot in that group, and that's a serious spot, right? And so anyway, that's kind of what it's going to look like. There's some regular practices we encourage group leaders to do. We encourage groups to meet consistently, and we just said, hey, probably one of the best ways to do group is to meet every week. Probably one of the best ways to do life in the round is to have a consistent time every week where you're meeting with a group of believers in your city group. But like we said, every group is going to flesh that out differently. Some groups might do every other week. Some might do 3 times a month. So that's going to look different depending on every group, and there's some freedom there. Another thing that we recommend as a regular practice is to have adult time without kids. I don't know if you guys are in my position with Melissa, but we really value adult time without kids, and we know how beneficial it is for us to have times just connecting with other adults where kids aren't interrupting. Now, I love the concept and the vision for like doing life in church as a family together and for our kids to see that. But there also needs to be a space in my life and Melissa's life where we are making a separation from our kids so that we can enter into adult time. And so what we're really encouraging groups to do is to kind of team together to help young families find childcare on nights that city groups are happening or times that city groups are happening. And one thing I want to say about that is the church is willing to reimburse you if you are having a hard time paying for childcare for your kids. The church really wants to come alongside of you in financial assistance because that's how much we believe in the city group life and how important and valuable it is for you to have that adult time. Okay, so planning social times, movie nights, game nights, just dinner hangouts. We encourage all of our city groups to do food together, and that's just part of what we like to practice in our groups. Those are our recommended practices. So you might be like looking around going, how did I get in this group? Like, how did I even make it here? Well, we had a registration that we opened up, and some people put, I would like to be in a group with this person. I would like to be in a group with that person. And we did our best just to honor all those different things. Every one of you who didn't specify, we just put you into a group's randomizer. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. No, there's no algorithm. There was really no easy way to do this. And there is no easy way. We tried our best to put people in groups that we feel like there would be a good connection that's there. But one thing I'll just say is I'm a firm believer that the healthy church, I probably almost knocked that water bottle over like 10 times. A healthy church is a diverse church, and I love seeing intergenerational city groups where you have young people mixed with old people together learning from one another. I'm a firm believer that not all young families with kids need to be all in the same group. Like I want to see just a lot of diversity, and so we tried to do that. But we also recognize that you might get done with today and go, I just think this group isn't connecting with me, and that's okay. And so we're going to leave about 5 minutes at the end for you to meet some of the other groups, and we just want there to be some freedom in this process for you to talk to other group leaders. And guys, last thing I'm going to say, and then we're going to have you guys talk. If you're already going, I'm not really sure that this is resonating with me, and you're like, maybe this isn't, and there it goes. Maybe this isn't this season. That's why I should hold it. Maybe this isn't the season for me. I would just encourage you to go talk with Sarah Graves, who's at our City Groups table. If you want to take your name off the list today because it may not work, that's going to free up some space for other people to get involved. And so that's all I'm going to say. Right now, you guys, I want you to just talk and get to know each other. We're going to put a couple of prompts on the screen. This is a time for you just to connect with your group. So go for it, y'all.
I'm going to interrupt your discussions for a moment. My name's Lawton. I'm part of the Rossi's group, and I want to talk through some logistics that you guys need to cover. Your group leaders are going to lead this discussion in a second, but before that, I want to just parrot what Tim said, a word of encouragement, that the group you're in right now, you're kind of committing just for 8 to 12 weeks. So I know the hope, the goal is that this becomes an 18 to 24-month commitment. And the hope and the goal is maybe if you're acting out of obedience right now or some of that positive pressure that Jared was talking about, and like that's why you're around a circle right now, that obedience becomes, maybe it becomes a feeling that city groups become what you look forward to every week. Don Packer gave a testimony a few weeks ago about that at first it was an obedience thing, and then it became this was what he looked forward to most every week. And that is the hope and prayer for everyone in this circle. But you might not be there right now, which is okay. And the other thing is okay is you're going to have an out in 2 or 3 months, okay? So if you're really nervous, you're like, ooh, I don't know. It's okay. You can say no in 2 or 3 months, but we're hoping your heart changes in that time period, okay? So that's the word of encouragement. And then after those 2 or 3 months, you'll have a point where you can commit to one another if it's for you. And if it's not, no big deal. You can cycle back around, and there'll be another cool, awkward event like this where you can meet some new people. Okay, the logistical part is picking a date and time. This is probably the biggest challenge for a new group, okay? We're going to use the red card method. This is not a method that I created. It's a method that lots of churches and lots of city groups have used, okay? I think they're passing around actual red cards. I've never done it with actual cards. But on these cards, as a couple, if you're a single person, you get one red card. You get to write one night of the week that will not work for you to meet. Okay, over the next, and we're just talking 2 or 3 months, so next 8 to 12 weeks, as a couple, if there is one night that will not work, you write that Wednesday, Sunday, or Sunday night even, if you want to make it more limited. Write that date on your card. Don't feel obligated to write something down. If you are in a stage of life where you do not have a red card day, you, for whatever reason, you're very flexible, maybe you don't have kids, maybe your kids are out of the house, that happens, that oftentimes you don't have a red card day. That will be a service to everyone else in your group, okay? But if you have a red card day, write the red card day. Most of us are very busy people, though, and you might be thinking in your head right now, I've got 6 red card days. There's only one day, I've really only got a green card, okay? The city group only works if you prioritize it, okay? And so that's why you only get one red card day. That might mean getting a babysitter on a day that you never expected to get a babysitter. It might mean rushing home from work a little early on a certain day, okay? You only get one red card. Otherwise, I'll tell you, you won't get off the ground. You won't find a meeting time. So I'm going to stop talking about 30 seconds here, but have your red card day. And for the next 8 to 12 weeks, you're going to decide in your group when you're going to meet. So whether that's an every week thing, it's an every other week, hopefully more, it's like a 3 or 4 times a month week. Find your date, and then the plan is to meet either this week or next week. Because if you don't meet in the next couple of weeks, the studies show you're probably not going to meet. So you're going to try to meet this week or next week on the day and time that you decided.
All right, everybody. Well, that is our official time for today. It's 11:30 now. You're welcome to continue to hang out and fellowship. What we want to encourage you to do, if you are a parent with kids in kids crew or in the nursery or anywhere in our children's ministry, we need to go and pick up our kids right now. But if you want to bring your kids back in here and hang out and continue to fellowship, you can do that. And we also want you to know, guys, there's freedom. There's freedom. Some of you guys have met today, and maybe it's not going to work out with your schedule or any other thing. Feel free to go and connect with other leaders and ask them about their group. Feel free to go and talk to Sarah Graves, the city group table, and ask her what's going on. If you want to change groups, let us know. We want everyone to just be led and to be in the right group. Okay, so let's go get our kids. And if you don't have kids, just continue fellowshipping. We're done.